Hi, Debbie here. Harvey Brown is a wonderful person with a heart of gold, never ceases to amaze, and wants to help the homeless by collecting blankets, sleeping bags, hats, and scarves, and anything that keeps people warm who are on the streets.
I see so many people around London sleeping in doorways, railway arches, and under open stairs. It is very sad, and the temperatures are dropping now, and I don't want people to suffer. Please help them if you can by contacting my mum or dad on Facebook or ringing 07949 285 683 to arrange drop off or collection. We are looking for donations of blankets, sleeping bags, hats, scarves, etc. Whatever you give will make someone warmer this winter. Thank you.
Ah, Harvey, how thoughtful. As Harvey says, contact his mum and dad, Vicky or Dean Brown, on their Facebook page. There is also a Keep Harvey Happy group on Facebook too, or alternatively phone 079 49 285 683. I'll repeat that, 079 49 285 683 to organise drop-off or collection. No matter what you donate, it will make a difference.
Hi, Bethany Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall fan show with the Millwall No One Likes Us Talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2021-2022 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talking, our Millwall fan show, in the 18th show in our new freedom post-lockdown, well-ish after this week. I'm your host, Henry Morgan, and with me I've got the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampey, Debbie Julians and Stan Godwin.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
A 3-1 win against Birmingham this last weekend brought the smiles back after we lost the points at Hull City the previous week. Debbie, if I start with you, how do you think we're faring at the moment?
Well, it's not often you go Millwall 3, Birmingham 1, is it?
It's not.
Excellent. So, wasn't there, unfortunately, but just going back, and the man and match is what a lot of people were saying of Billy Mitchell.
Indeed,
He seemed to be in the right place, and at the right time throughout the match. Some say the game is the best they've ever seen in a very, very long time.
It was
good. So it started with passion. The atmosphere was electric.
Very
with
good
the game
atmosphere,
stopping, of course, on the 6th minute, where everyone came together. Got to hold myself there to applaud and let Arthur know he was loved. And I'm sure he heard that applause in heaven, which surpasses all. But anyway, Afobe and Bradshaw worked tirelessly. We had more hunger and desire than Birmingham. We dominated in the front, we dominated in the middle, and we dominated in the back. We created more chances and had 10 shots on target and 20 shots in total. And the crowd responded as the team gave them something to get excited about. Players attacked with determination, aggression, and on the third goal just took the wind completely out of Birmingham.
They did.
They had worked on set pieces and pulled it off. We took the lead and just kept on playing for the next goal. An emotional time and an outstanding performance. Fantastic.
I've got to. I think that's an absolutely brilliant summary. Many of those points in there. Stan, if I come to you next, what was your take on these two games? And obviously, I wondered what your thoughts were. Something that Debbie mentioned there, the partnership maybe that's building between Afobe and Bradshaw.
Yeah, I mean, let me just say this in relationship to the game. I mean, I have to say, from a Millwall point of view, this season at the Den, that's been the best performance I've seen all season from Millwall. And we've had some good games, but I thought they was exceptional that day. we started off at the right pace.
We did.
We didn't let them. We started off. We were closing them down quickly as soon as they got the ball. The only thing that slightly worried me a little bit at the time is in the first half. After about the first 15 minutes, we seemed to slacken off a bit, and they then get back into the game. So we got to watch that. But I thought we were excellent. I thought Billy Mitchell was superb, and another one. And I would,
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said that Billy Mitchell was their man in the match. I think that Danny McNamara had a good game, and I think
agree.
it's,
I agree with you.
Be a
It's close
toss up between the pair of them.
I agree with you there.
I mean, but I thought we were excellent. I thought we were playing the right way. There was none of this long ball rubbish, and it was because it's no good pumping long balls down to Tom Bradshaw because he's never going to get them. I mean, it's just
or Benica
he ain't tall enough. No,
Neither
that's right. But they both got pace, and that's and you look at any of these teams in the Championship now, they up front they got pace, right? I was rather interested though. I noticed in the first half that Troy Deeney was playing deep for Birmingham, which is unusual for him. I'm not I'm complaining, but I was surprised to see that. I thought we were superb. I thought our passing was good, our movement was good. If we play like that every week, you won't hear me moan. And secondly, come the end of the season, we won't be far off the top 6 in my view. That's how good we was.
Stan, I completely agree with you there, and I think look, what I was going to ask George actually was, are we starting to peak or beginning to peak at the right sort of time? You get some really good results in over the Christmas period, and you can kick on after that. So George, what are your thoughts on this kind of pick up in form?
I'm glad you asked me that actually, Henry, because I think the last couple of games we've played at home, the second halves have been very good. Not the first
Bournemouth, the Bournemouth game we battered them. I don't know how we didn't win that.
In what you're asking the question, that would lead into this game. And this game, as Stanley rightly said, we kicked off right from the start rather than going off before we start playing. And some people said to me on Tuesday night they thought Birmingham wasn't a very good team. Well, I didn't agree with that. I thought Birmingham were quite a decent side. I thought we just played so much better, and it was certainly the best game I've seen all season.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I think the chances are here now after them 2 second-half performances and then this game where we've played well all the way through with good football, good passing all the way through the game. Seems like our forward line, at least these 2 up front, Bradshaw and Afobe, look like they may well be doing something.
Yeah.
I think we're in a chance of pushing on. Yes, I certainly hope that is the case. But as far as, Saturday, I just thought it was an excellent game of football. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The crowd enjoyed it, which was nice for everybody to go away smiling. I thought it was a nice day all round, actually. And we haven't had too many of them at the Den this season.
We haven't. And the other thing I was just going to mention is I wonder if there's a bit of a watershed moment there between Millwall and Birmingham City in coming together with that clapping on the 6th minute, because we've had, let's be honest, probably since 1996, a bit of a torrid time with Birmingham City. We had the playoffs, we had unfortunate events back then, and it was really nice to kind of see that. And there's been a lot of positivity between the two sets of fans, certainly that I've seen on social media, and I do think things are moving in the right directions. We've had 27 shots over the Hull and Birmingham City games, of which 8 of those have been on target. So we're looking really at sort of 1 in every 3, which isn't a bad ratio, if you're looking to kick on.
On what you're saying there, Henry, I've been a Millwall supporter for a long time, and there's lots of times when Millwall supporters make me fed up to the back teeth, really. You know what I mean? Let's be honest about that, and I am one of them. But sometimes Millwall supporters do things that I'm very proud of, and Saturday was one of them moments, actually. Clapping that young boy. I
completely agree.
Can I just add? I mean, I was
of course
somewhat surprised. I must admit, when I saw the interview from Troy Deeney, which was done for the South London Press after the game, and he was very complimentary in terms of Millwall Football Club and Millwall supporters. And that's, and I must admit, I was surprised when I read that, and all credit to him. But it did surprise me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, look, we'll take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren talking about Sands United.
We know that some men can struggle to talk about how they're feeling after the death of a baby. We hope that by building trust and a common bond, by playing together as a team, many more will be able to break their silence about baby loss and help others to do the same. Sands United FC has already saved the lives of men left feeling like they had no one to turn to in their grief. Are you a father who has lost a child? Talk to Sands United. They will help. Contact them on sufclondon@gmail.com. That's sufclondon@gmail.com. They will help.
I'm Henry Morgan, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampey, Debbie Julians and Stan Godwin. The No One Likes Us Talking special with Phil Coleman, talking about the short life of ex-Millwall player and friend John Lyons, points to organisations such as Sands United and the Proper Blokes Club. These organisations will help and support the need to end the stigma associated with men's mental health. And can I say, having just come off a break for this very reason, they are both fantastic things that should be embraced by anyone who's potentially struggling with their mental health. Also, just to make Millwall fans aware that the club have released a statement this afternoon saying that due to the government's announcement to implement Plan B, inverted commas, the COVID restrictions from next Wednesday, the 15th of December, the club has to change their admissions policy in line with this. So these new restrictions unfortunately mean that proof of negative lateral flow test or vaccination certificate will be a condition of entry to matches both home and away until such time as regulations are changed. So please make sure that when you are attending the match, you either have with you the NHS app with proof of vaccination on, or you have an email or a text message from NHS Direct saying that you have had a negative lateral flow or PCR test the day of the game. Our first guest hails from Mitcham, where they say you can't match them, and that certainly is the case of this individual's career. He was an amateur at Tooting and Mitcham when after 35 games he was spotted by Millwall. He signed as an amateur for the Lions initially, but then quickly they realised his potential and made him a professional within 2 months of his arrival. He was ever present for almost 3 seasons at the Den, making 158 appearances, only missing the last game of the 1965-66 season. During this period, he earned 3 England under-23 caps, and during his time with us, that the 60s witnessed a revival at Coldblow Lane. Promoted as champions in 1962, it was to provide a forced dawn as relegation followed just 2 years later. But the resurgence began immediately. Millwall finished runners-up in Division 4 in 1965 and then won promotion to the second successive season to Division 2 in 1966. As a third division keeper, he left the Den for top-flight Chelsea for a record £50,000, which in today's money is about 800k. But what I do have to say is that at the time was a record transfer fee. He played 1 game at Chelsea and then headed to Manchester United for £5,000 more than they paid us for him. And the rest of his career is well recorded. And in particular, the shot he saved from Eusebio in the European Cup final when the Benfica and Portuguese star applauded him on his save. He finally hung up his boots in 1982, the year I was born, at Altrincham after 678 appearances and 2 goals. I'll say no more, but we will welcome the one and only Alex Stepney to the studio tonight. Welcome, Alex.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
Hello,
Alex.
Hi, David. Right.
Alex, it's not every day that you speak to a European Cup winner. So can I just say that I feel fairly honoured to speak to somebody that has the reputation and the career that you've had, both at Mill and beyond that, fella. So it is. Can I say what an honour it is to speak to you?
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Not many people as well. I think you must be one of the only, if not the only individual, and you'll have to tell me a little bit more about this, that has won every division 4, 3, 2, and what was Division 1. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, runners up in the 3rd and 4th division, but won the 2nd and won the 1st. Yeah. So, 1 promotion or whatever you want to call it, put us into put us into Europe or, upper division. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. Look, before I let you off to the panel, you scored 2 goals as a goalkeeper, which is fairly unique, whilst playing for Manchester United. I mean, how did you feel and what did you do at the time? Like, was that ever your intention? I mean,
No, no way at all. It was, of course, Trevor Dott was the manager. We went on a pre-season tour to Spain. We just played in a little 4-team tournament in Murcia. Murcia played Valencia. We played a team called Peñarol from Uruguay, and obviously the reason for that was because there had to be a Spanish team in the final. We played Peñarol, we drew, and it was a penalty shootout. And for some unknown reason, I put my name forward to take a penalty because I scored and I saved a couple of penalties in the shootout, and that was it. Never thought no more about it. But at the start of the season, Willie Morgan was our penalty taker, and he failed a fitness test at about the 3rd or 4th game of the season against Leicester City at Old Trafford. And of course, when the bell went, Martin Buchan, who was our captain, just said to the manager, "Who's taking the penalties?" And he said, "Alex." And I never thought I'd get one.
That's an amazing story.
But the funny thing about it was because I was at the Stretford end at the time, and of course, who was in goal was Peter Shilton.
Wow.
And to be honest, you should have seen his face when he saw me come up to take the penalty.
I bet, yeah.
especially when I sent it in the wrong way.
Brilliant.
And I don't think he's ever spoke to me ever since. But
That's fantastic.
That's a brilliant story. Hi, Alex. It's
Hi.
Debbie here.
Hi, Deb.
Hi. Millwall hunted you down at Tooting and Mitcham United. Were others in the hunt? How did the eventual transfer come about?
Well, it was a strange one really, because back then you had to join. If you wanted to join a professional club, you try and join sort of the youth squad or youth team. When you left school, and I missed out. I absolutely missed out, and I did have a trial for Fulham when I was 16, and the manager was a guy called Bedford Jezard, and he said after 45 minutes, "I'm sorry, son, you're never going to make it." Well, I didn't like that, and I thought, well, I'm going to try and prove you wrong. But I played for Tooting and Mitcham, and eventually got in the first team. But 1963 was a very bad winter, and the season closed down for like near enough 2 months, because in those days there was no undersoil heating or anything like that. And because when it opened up again, I mean, I was working at a place called Phillips in Croydon, a television company, and obviously playing amateur football, and it was one of those things. And the manager was a guy called Derek Ufton, who played for Charlton. He was wicketkeeper for Kent, and also he just said because when it opened up, there was a shortage there's so many games, there was a shortage of players, and he just said to me, Millwall would like a goalkeeper to play in the reserves, and I played about 5 or 6 reserve games, and we finished runners up in the football combination as it was then. So, and then Ron Gray was manager, and at the start of the 63-64 season, just said, do you fancy turning pro? And I said, well, yeah, I'd love to, but I want to start the season. Simple as that, because I was on the verge of an amateur cap at the time, which meant that you could go in the Olympic Games, which a lot of people wouldn't remember that today. And he said no, he stuck by his word, and he played me, and that's where it started.
Fantastic.
Hello, Alex. George here.
Hi, George.
Before I ask you a question, I just want to say that fella at Fulham didn't know what he was talking about, did he?
Well, I've had a few funny things that haven't gone well at the start, and I've somehow got me revenge, because in 65-60 season, the last season at Millwall, we got to the third round of the FA Cup, and we actually played Fulham away in the third round, and we drew 3-3.
I know.
And I think Harry Cripps scored right in the last, in the dying seconds, which obviously put us into a replay. And because in those days the replays were straight away basically, and it was on the Tuesday night, Now, can you imagine Fulham coming to the Den with Johnny Haynes, Bobby Robson, and all these wonderful players? And it was raining, and it was a full house, and of course we won 2-0, didn't we?
Yeah.
We frightened the blue life out of them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, yeah. Your arrival and a mixture of homegrown talent, players, and some clever acquisitions by Billy Gray heralded a resurgence for the Lions. What were your first impressions of your teammates and Billy when you arrived at the Den?
Well, I've got to say that Billy was, to me, he made me. He actually made me because, I mean, there was no money about in those days. Like we sort of, just sort of got over the, just above the normal average wage, basically. And we used to train on Blackheath, would you be, where they start the London Marathon.
Yeah.
And we used to go there, and because once you've done your training, because in those days it was 10 till 12 o'clock. That was as simple as that, basically. But he always took me afterwards. Funny enough, he lived next door but one to me when he moved to Mepham, and he actually made me. To be honest, he was fantastic with me because it's not very often you find an outfield player knows what to do with goalkeeping, and he really put me through my paces, and I've always said he was the one that made me the way I finished and got where I was.
That's nice. Yeah.
Lovely man.
Yeah.
Alex, it's Stan here, mate.
Hi, Stan.
All right, your former teammates Tommy Wilson and Barry Rowan have both been on the show in the last couple of months and spoke about the 59 home games, which we went without defeat. Now, we got promoted at me from the third to the second, and you then left, and then it was that run come to an end in January 1967. In them 2 years and that, was you aware of anything special that was happening through great home form?
It's like everything else, once you start getting good results, and especially away from home and at home, obviously, you've always wanted to sort of your home ground was like that was the one that kept you in the league and hopefully got your promotion or win a league. We went on a run, and once you go on a run, and players start believing in themselves, that was fantastic. And because the players that Billy brought in and helped us to do what we achieved, and it was great management. But we were great lads. We all in those days, we had to. I mean, we didn't have mobile phones or anything like that. It was no social media. It was like get on with it and work hard and have the crack when on the coach going to games and playing a game of cards or whatever. And quiz questions. That's how we survived. But when you've got a team spirit going, it's hard to sort of say, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna win this one, and we think about the next game. Right? It was never what we got about 3 or 4 games to win straight off. No, it was the next game, and that's how it was.
George here again, Alex. We had some amazing tales of players' rituals before games. Did you or any of your Millwall teammates have any interesting habits pre-match?
I think everybody has their own sort of way of getting, sort of ready before a game. I mean, myself, basically, it was, I always, I don't know why, but it's just how it was, because, it's something that, you think, well, you're doing, it was the right thing to do and it was helping you, was I always started to get changed exactly half an hour before the game, before kickoff. Because I knew quite easily that when I'm ready, it'll be 5-2, 5 minutes to go. So the bell would ring and I'm out, and there's no nerves. You go out and you go out and play. Simple as that. And I think every player had their own sort of way of doing things. I can't tell you exactly what they did because I was more concerned about me.
Took you 25 minutes to put your gear on then, Alex, did it?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like one of those things. I know I'm going to move on a bit. Like when I was at Manchester United, I mean, when we had players there, like, but I mean, normally everybody sort of started getting ready about that time. That was, But the only player that didn't was George Best. Because he dressed room until 15 minutes before the game and just put his shirt on and shorts, go out and tie a bow in his shoe, and that was it. And go out and this is how I'm going to play today. I don't care. That was it. Not a bad player either. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, that's true. Alex, what was your most memorable game with Millwall?
Well, I think obviously my very first professional game. Simple as that. You dream as a kid to become a professional footballer. How many kids do and never make it? That was it. But my first game was against Reading at the Den, and ironically, I've got the programme after all these years, and I've noticed, which I never dreamed about, was that it was a 3:15 kickoff, which I don't think was ever heard of. Yeah. Everything was 3 o'clock in those days. But why was I don't know why was Millwall's game 3:15?
It was to do with the Dockers.
It might have been another 15 minutes for the Dockers to have a few more points in the pub.
I mean that 15 minute that you say 1963. That was what it was for the Docks, and because by 1968. Most of the Docks had gone by then, or was well down. And in 1968, it then followed, and it all went to 3 o'clock.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. That was interesting. Good.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
It's Debbie here again. As a child, I have lots of memories of my dad, Len,
of course.
And the Millwall team, he as well, and it was like an extended family. How do you remember the relationship that existed amongst the players and their families?
It was your home, you know what I mean? Every day was your life, and fair dues. I've got to say that Billy was the instigator of bringing us together family-wise as well, after games and things like that. I don't think before that ever happened. And because we were winning and because we were doing well, I think that all helped. And that was Billy's way. It is, you have to be part of a family to sort of progress and win things. And that's what he believed in. And he put that through to us as players. And because, players, that he brought in, also done well, like Hugh Curran. He went to which is Norwich and then on to Wolves and played for Scotland. These things happened, and it was done by the manager because they ran the club in those days.
Yes, yeah, and he mentored so many people, didn't he?
Yeah. I can't say that the board were very sort of sympathetic with us or happy with us. They didn't do a lot for us, but that was hard times in those days. But we knew we had to. It was your own self. I mean, Len had, your dad had fantastic times elsewhere before he came, but he carried it on as well. It's players come to you who've been around. Roy Dwight and people like that came. These are the sort of things that win you things and win you, the admiration of supporters because. You've got to remember, the supporters are the kingpins of your job.
Yes, absolutely. They were so key, weren't they?
Yeah,
and still are. So.
Well, yeah. I've got to say, when I was there, because the tunnel was like behind the goal, and because that was the main place for the Dockers and all that, where they were in those days, and but there was some good language.
We call that colourful.
Not always from the Dockers, but from their wives. No, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was, and
I've spoken to many players over the years And when they speak to me and they, bloody hell, what was it like playing for Millwall? Because when I went there, we were scared out of our bloody lives. Well,
Yeah,
there was always
but
a
there's
name
nothing
that
like
come
the
up.
warmth.
Yeah, there was always a name that come up. Yeah, someone called Harry Cripps. I don't know why.
Oh, bless him.
Georgia again, Alex.
Hi,
Can you
George.
tell us how your transfer to Chelsea came about?
Well, it was a bit of a fiasco, really, because like you said in the introduction that I missed the last game of the season, and that was against Grimsby actually, because we'd won promotion, and we did have about just over 2 weeks before the final game, and for some unknown reason, I can't remember why, but anyway, we won. I mean, we won promotion 2 years on the trot, and because there was a reason, must have been a reason somewhere along the line, but they sacked Billy Gray. They sacked him. It's football, isn't it, in all respect? But whatever the reason was, I don't know. But because they brought in Benny Fenton, who used to play for West Ham. Because I got this phone call from Benny saying, listen, I've got someone in my office. Will you come in today? Because we got a few days off. So I went there, and he said, put a collar and tie on. And I thought, bloody hell, what's he on about? Because I get there, and he said, now listen. He said, I've got a manager. I've got Ron Greenwood in my office. He said, and he said, now nothing's been agreed, and they just would like to talk to you because they'd like to sign you. West Ham would like to sign you, and because I'm over the moon really, because there was Jeff Hurst and Bobby Moore and Martin Peters. They were a good team in those days. Because I went in and because Ron Greenwood was a lovely man, and I had met him when I played for the under-23s. You see, so
Yeah.
Anyway, we got talking, and all of a sudden it came out. We'd like to sign you, and I mean, I went there. I went to Millwall for nothing, and all of a sudden he said, "Well, we're paying Millwall £45,000." Well, and Benny said nothing's been agreed. I don't know because that my brain went then. And I went out and said, "Hey, you're trying to con me, you," and that was it. I said, "Well, I want so much." In those days, you've got to say it was football league rules. It was illegal, but I thought, well, you got me for now, and you were getting 45 grand after, which was a lot of bloody money in those days.
Yeah.
And he said, well, listen, I'll have a word with the board. Anyway, the next day I got a call saying, yeah, everything's all right. Go and see the chairman, Mr. Mickey Purser, on the old Kent Road there. He had a I think a Volkswagen sort of franchise.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he sat behind his desk with a big cigar in his mouth, and I said, right, well, he said, go and enjoy yourself at West Ham. I said, right, okay, well, have you got something for me? He said, no, I'm not giving you anything. I said, well, I'm not going. Anyway, cut long story short, I did do the honourable thing. I went over to see Ron Greenwood at West Ham and told him the situation. He said, Alex, I do understand. He said, we have a problem because Bobby Moore had come in for something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That was by that time, and that was it, And he said, thank you very much. And I went back to the ground, and there was Tommy Doherty. And he told me Peter Bonetti was he'd had a row with him, and he was going to go to West Ham.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard that story about Peter Bonetti going to West Ham.
Before I signed for Chelsea, I even went to Joe Mears, right? Mm-hmm. Because this was just before the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I went to Joe. I said, look, I want to be honest. I'd like to be honest with me. I said, I respect you. And I said, if I sign, is Peter Bonetti going to West Ham? He said, Alex, if you sign, I will definitely sell Peter Bonetti to West Ham, because Peter was with the World Cup squad. You see,
That's right. I
This
remember.
was May. This was May '66, and so I duly signed, and because England were playing Norway in Oslo as a warm-up match, because they didn't have to qualify. You see,
That's
because
right.
the game was in England, and he went to Oslo and he went for a walk in the park and he dropped dead of a heart attack. And the new chairman who came in, now I don't want to take this the wrong way, I don't want to be, but his name was Mr. Pratt. Anyway,
Right.
and he said, Peter Bonetti's not going, and that was it. So I was in limbo then, because that was pre-season, and anyway, look, England won the World Cup, and we went on pre-season tour, and we chose. I mean, just shows you what Tommy Docherty was like. Do you know what he did? I'll tell you what he did. On the day of the England World Cup final against Germany, where did he take us? Germany. And that's one of the funniest stories ever, because we all, can you imagine, we was in this hotel, but can you imagine, we never even got a seat because every seat had a towel on it, watching the television.
Am I right in saying that when you left Millwall to go to Chelsea, right, that was a world record fee for a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
And then when you went to Chelsea later on, that was obviously another world record.
When I went to Manchester United,
Man United. Sorry, yeah. So you're unique in the sense.
In 4 months.
Yeah. You had two. Yeah, and
Well, yeah. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, that's right. You got to remember that I played one game for Chelsea because Peter feigned an injury. He feigned a blooming injury about the third or fourth game of the season, and I got the call to play down at Southampton on the Friday night, because I went down to Southampton with the team and we won 3-0. And on the Monday morning, I think Peter was expecting someone to come in for him, but Matt Busby came in for me. So at the end of the day, I mean, you're talking about 2 world record fees, but I'm still, the only goalkeeper to play for Chelsea and never let a goal in.
Brilliant.
I do like that.
When you went from Millwall to Chelsea, because although we got promoted, we were still actually in the 3rd division at that point.
Yeah.
So it was you had a 3rd division goalkeeper in England. Thankfully, he played for Millwall. That was actually being transferred for a world record fee.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Couldn't imagine it today, could you? But there we are.
Well, I don't know. I mean, not really, no.
It's quite amazing when you sort of put it in those terms, Stan. Yeah. So, Alex, Bryan King was at the Den last weekend for book signings. He was part of a trio with Steve Brown, as hosted by Jeff Burnige. That gave an open question time with fans this week as well.
Okay.
They spoke of yourself amongst a group of goalkeepers that have passed through Millwall and have been amongst the best in the country and the best that this country potentially have ever seen, to be honest with you. Bryan certainly describes his own game and how it evolved at the Den. How was your Millwall experience in terms of the fans' atmosphere? You've touched a bit on that already, but also the playing style. And was that critical to your footballing development? And also, have you read Bryan's book, and how much of that sort of feeds into your own experience?
Yeah, I've read his book. I mean, I did speak to him about 3 or 4 months ago, actually, and he sent me his book, and and he asked me what I thought. I said it brought back so many memories. I'm talking about nearly 60 years ago, and it did. It brought back so many memories of enjoyment of being in that situation. That famous football ground, because it is the people still talk about it. You might not realise that, but even up here, in the north, like I said to you before, when I talk to players from all over, on golf days and that, you're plumbing now. What was it like playing? They're telling me, because they're all frightened about it, But my experiences there were absolutely fantastic. I mean, even like, getting relegated. I mean, I can even remember that. My first season getting relegated, I played in every game. And Barnsley, I think, drew with QPR on the last game of the season, and they were losing 2-0, and they drew 2-2 to put us down because we went down on goal difference. That was it.
Oh,
and
like
then, Chris,
96.
but that the thing about that, I think that sort of pushed us on to get back, and Billy had sort of changed everything within the club. I mean, there was time. I think we were the first match to be sort of televised on the pitch or something. I think we played up at Workington.
Yeah, that's right.
Right,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
beamed it back to the ground. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there was so much that was going on that was, it was just incredible.
Yeah.
Special times them day was in them years, Alex. That unbeaten run and then shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at the Den and at the old Den. I mean, I was fortunate enough to, and like with George and Eamon, we see it, and they was special times, and and that unbeaten run for me and a lot of people. I mean, we've been to cup finals and playoff finals at Wembley and all that lot.
Yeah.
But that unbeaten run is up there with all of that in my
Of course, yeah. Yeah. It was just a special time, wasn't it?
Very special time.
And the players we had. I mean, think about that today. Yeah, I mean, how many players are now in the squads of these football teams?
Yeah.
We probably only had 13 or 14 players.
Yeah.
And to do that and the pitches we played. I mean, I can remember when we won promotion from the 4th to the 3rd. We played Notts County away, I think, just after Christmas. And we're winning 2-1, and there was a massive thunderstorm, and the pitch got waterlogged, and it was abandoned. That was it. And we had to play them last game of the season. The only thing game, but we had to win. I think to go above Rochdale. To go back into the 3rd division, and we won 2-1 back at Notts County. Those sort of things stay in your mind.
Yeah.
You'll have to write another book, Your Millwall Story, coming from you.
Yeah, it's books about it, like everything else. It's just, I don't know. I'll never forget playing for Millwall and joining Millwall and becoming a professional footballer. That's as simple as that. And the wonderful players that I've met, and played with throughout the game, right from the start. I can remember bumping into Roy Dwight. I was down in with my sister then lived in Bexley, and I went down and I think he lived down that way and I just met him in a hotel there. It's just fantastic to catch up on, and like Tommy Wilson, we talked about Tommy Wilson when Hull City got into the Premiership. I still work at Old Trafford, but Tommy got in touch and we had a good chat and met up.
Yeah. Do you still, Alex? You still watch out for Millwall's results?
Always do. Funny enough, I've just moved actually. And I'm not far from Preston North End.
Oh, okay, yes.
Right, their ground. I can go for a walk and I can see Preston's ground because I live near on a big park near the ground.
I mean, to be fair, with those floodlights, you can almost see them from where we are, mate. To be fair, deep down now.
And of course, my first Millwall. I wonder when they're playing Millwall. And United have got a home game, so unless they've changed it, I'll go to that game because. Obviously, the Premiership, the games get changed to Sundays and things like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hopefully, I can go to that game.
Well, look, that's useful because, last of all, as is tradition, I'm going to ask you for a prediction for Millwall's trip to Peterborough this coming Saturday. What do you think the score will be?
Listen, when I'm at United, I'm always asked questions about picking the team. I always want 3 points. I'll settle for 1-0 now, even away from home. That's it, But they had a great win. At the weekend. So, the towels must be up. So, they're doing all right. Yeah, why not? Let's go for 1-0 away from home.
Love that. Well, look, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We've only scratched the surface of your illustrious career at the Den, really. I imagine we could probably listen to you all night. So, look, all the best to you and yours, and hopefully we'll hear from you again soon.
Lovely.
But it's bye from now from all of us.
Okay, my pleasure.
Cheers,
you
mate.
take care. You
Bye-bye,
take care.
Alex.
Stay
Lovely
safe.
to talk to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Blimey. Well, we'll take a break there and listen to Debbie Julians and Harvey Brown talking about the Lions Food Hub.
First of all, let's hear from Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? It is now located in the Millwall Community Trust car park. That's beside Millwall's Den in Ballina Road. That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need support, and you can help if you can by making a one-off or a regular monetary donation online at Banquet, that is BANKUET. Or on a Saturday, you should make donations pre-match at the hub, about 50 metres down from the Lions store. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via their Twitter and Facebook sites.
I'm Henry Morgan, and with me I've got the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampey, Debbie Julians and Stan Godwin. Energy and food poverty is rising, but your kindness will be much appreciated and lessen the burden on those families at risk. Next up, we hear from Ellis Barr.
Ellis here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to, and to hear who is next up for Gary Rowett and the Lions. Come on, Millwall!
The Millwall Romans and Millwall Pride were back in action this weekend past and also involved in the Rainbow Laces promotion. Eamon caught up with the Romans captain Paul Loding and Pride captain Andy Dolan.
Hi Paul, how did it go back at Salter Road on Sunday?
Hi Eamon. It was a busy Sunday afternoon for both teams. We played back-to-back at St Paul, so the Pride team kicked off about 1:15 in the end, with Romans then kicking off about 3:30. Romans started a little bit on the shakier side, still kept our composure. I think playing under floodlight was just something a little bit different for us, and we managed to get used to that. But it was a good result in the end. We finished up a 9-0 with both Jay Lamonius and Bass bagging hat-tricks for themselves, which puts them both top goal scorers in the league, which is great, a great achievement. We had a bit of a result in the league as well, with the other team, Stonewall, challenging for the top place as well. They actually came away with a draw at the weekend, meaning they've dropped a couple of points, so that gives us a good chance. They beat us obviously at the start of the season, but that gives us a nice in a nice position really going into Christmas. Last league game of the year. We're still second with a game in hand, but I'm confident that we'll finish top.
So what's up next, Paul?
Looking forward, we're up against Left Footers this Sunday, 4 p.m. kickoff at St Paul's under floodlight. Left Footers, they're a very sort of fun team. They don't play in a league. They're very much all about the kick about. I don't visualise any problems we'll have this week, but we're going to mix it up a little bit. With Pride, don't have a game now until January, so we'll be mixing the teams up with Pride and Romans. To hopefully then progress into the GFSN Cup. After this Sunday, the draw will happen at some time in December, and we could be drawn against anybody in across the country, really. If there's teams in Glasgow and Edinburgh, they're all playing this weekend, so it could be anywhere across the country, which will be a good weekend away, but can also could be a bit of a pain. So it would be nice if we could get a London draw, but we'll see what happens.
What about a prediction against Peterborough this week?
I think prediction for this week, Peterborough obviously last. I think they're in the bottom 3 or 4 at the moment, so we've got to take some points on that one. I'm going to go 3-0 Millwall.
Well, we'll take that all day long, mate, I tell you. Now, Rainbow Laces campaign has taken a big profile across all types of media and even nationally. What's going on with you guys?
Obviously, busy time at the moment with the Rainbow Laces campaign happening. Obviously, it means a lot to us. I know there's lots of social media that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. One of our players, Nick, centre back, went down to did a Zoom call with a community trust with some journalist students, and spoke to them about how important it is, about what we're actually trying to do, and how important the Rainbow Laces campaign is. So there's been lots going around of social media for the Rainbow Laces campaign at the moment. Just to mention as well, we were invited down Saturday, just gone to the Den to watch the game. Luke Shepherd and John Goodyear, who I think have been on the show before, they attended on Saturday, went up to the director's box, had lunch there and that, just to celebrate the Rainbow Laces campaign and discuss why it's important to us. So it's a really, really good day. They had a really, really good time.
Oh, great to hear that they're receiving that sort of attention, and the top of the club is right behind them. I think Sean Daly mentioned something about wearing Santa suits. Is that right?
Next Saturday as well, the 18th, is the Santa Dash. We've got 15 players that will be going down for the Santa Dash. Going down obviously in our Santa costumes, which would be great fun. And we're going to combine it with our Christmas social. So we're coming back to the ground, and we've been invited into the ground to watch the game in the afternoon. So we're all really, really looking forward to that as well.
Thanks, Paul. We'll catch up with you next week. Cheers for now. Evening, Andy. Thanks for your time. I know you've been busy. What was up for Millwall Pride on Sunday?
So we had a great double header against the Soho teams last weekend. The Pride team, we played Soho FC, which is like their first team. And we acquitted ourselves really well, actually. I was really pleased. We did go down 2-0, but we were competitive throughout. And I think really positive signs that we're getting more organised, tighter as a group. Created some chances and held our own, really. Yeah, we were pleased with that as a result.
Well, that's excellent. Improving how you're playing as a team is something that you've been, I suppose, looking for. It's not the priority. I know that. We know that. But what's up next?
And what is up next for Millwall Pride is a lovely mid-season break. We don't have a game until January the 16th now, so I will definitely be hitting the advent calendar hard before inevitably facing the January diet. Maybe I'll do veganuary. Maybe I'll have to deal with dry January this year. I'm trying to get myself back into my fitness because I've had a bad hamstring, so I've not been able to play so much. But got to get back on it, Got to get lead from the front.
That's it. Recover well. Lead from the front. It's a shame you'll miss that Santa Dash because that could have done you a favour. Anyhow, what's the prediction for Peterborough versus Millwall?
My prediction for Millwall Peterborough, they're low down in the league, going all right. So I'm gonna go strong. A pre-Christmas delight. I think we're gonna do a 4-0 win there this weekend. I'm going big.
A 4-0 thriller. Wow. Let's hope that is the case. That would be excellent. Well, all the best to you, Andy. We'll catch you along the way. Thanks for coming on.
The Lionesses faced Fulham women at Motspur Park in the London South East Regional Premier Division last Sunday, and our roving reporter, Jeff Burnige, was there to witness the action.
Millwall Lionesses had an afternoon to forget against Fulham on Sunday in front of a sizable crowd at Motspur Park Stadium, Fulham FC's superb training ground. Everything that could go wrong did happen. Keeper Chrissy Wiggins returned in goal after 2 weeks missing through illness, and it looked as if she returned too soon, conceding some soft goals in the first half, leaving the Lionesses 6-0 down. And Chrissy, in fact, needed extensive treatment on the field at one point. She was withdrawn at half-time, and top scorer Chloe Burr went in goal. And it looked for a while that the Lionesses would even draw the second half. But in the final stages, Fulham scored 3 more, and Elisa Miranda, Lionesses right winger, scored for the Lionesses. A 9-1 defeat doesn't look good on paper, but the soft early goals had set a pattern for the afternoon, and now it has to be a case of prepare for next Sunday's game against Denham United, when normal service is likely to be resumed.
Well, a mixed bag of results there for both the Lionesses, Romans and Pride. What are our thoughts? Stan, let's start with you.
Again, it's all work in progress, and they're doing really well. I mean, there's even talk now, haven't they, doing a third team possibly. All sounds good for the future. I don't see they're just doing really well, and good luck to them. And all the success they get, they will fully deserve. Absolutely no doubt about that, in my view.
George, Lionesses, tough to lose by 9 goals on any given day, but obviously against an up-and-coming Fulham side.
Yeah. I mean, it speaks for itself, and it's no disgrace at all. And it sounds like our poor goalkeeper was suffering that day, and maybe shouldn't have been back in the between the sticks. But the thing I like about this, and people will know what I mean, is you've got your Lionesses, you've got your Romans, you've got your Pride. I love the fact that they all play under our umbrella, and I just that's the real shining light for me. So the fact that they're all making progress, they all seem to be going along and progressing well. That's a bonus. But the fact that they all live within our umbrella, I love that. If I'm honest,
It's very,
Couldn't
it's very
agree more,
good.
George.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Debbie, what are your thoughts on both the results and what George has said?
Well, with the Lionesses, gosh, what a shock for them, bless them.
Yes.
They've had a brilliant run, and then to lose 9-1 was an awful shock. And
I was
Chrissy
shocked.
Wiggins, who usually blocks most goals, and she's a powerful force. I've seen her in action, and bless her, and conceded goals. I mean, she was out there obviously trying, came back too early and had to come off at half-time. And Chloe Burr going in, where she's one of the best goal scorers. But on reflection, it was a disjointed game. But they come back. They have a good overview of it, good thinking. They'll be back at home versus Denham. And there was 2 new debuts for Katerina or something. Kata. She's a Finnish. And for Liz Callaghan. They both had their debuts, and Elisa Miranda scored our goal. The manager is gradually getting to know all the team well, and gradually bringing in new players too. So they're really progressing, as George said, and Stan, of course. But the Romans as well, I agree with George. It's just wonderful that we have that under our banner, and the joining in with the community trust as well. Love to see Sean Daly in a Father Christmas outfit. So
Yes, look, I was looking forward to that as well. The Santa Dash, it's got to be a very positive thing. I think again, it's great to have such a progressive side of the club out there doing great things, and highlighting all the good stuff that we do in the community. Saturday the 18th of December at home to Preston. I just want to highlight something that's being done by Peter Lee on behalf of Arthur's Run, which is what he's calling it. So if you look this up, I've posted it on numerous Millwall fan pages. We are going to be collecting nappies, formula milk, blankets, bedding, bottles, cups, children's toiletries, baby food, toddler food, all of these items to be donated to the Birmingham Baby Bank. They'll also be collecting the usual food bank items, ideally tinned or boxed, like soup, cereal, etc. These donations will be dropped at the Spark Hill Food Bank in Solihull. Also, we'll be collecting new or nearly new toys for the Solihull Moors on behalf of their Helping Hands scheme. This is all on, this is all sort of to help support the memory of Arthur, who we clapped on the 6th minute at home to Birmingham City, and is being run at the Preston game. I will have further details of where you can drop this off on next week's podcast. Moving on now to Peterborough United. Henry Stato Morgan is back. I am back here. And my thoughts ahead of the Peterborough United game against Millwall. I mean, I was going to start with Bob Marley's Redemption song, actually, because the last time I went to Peterborough, I think we lost 5-1. And it was on a beginning of the season. I think it's probably the season we got relegated. It was one of the worst performances I saw under Neil Harris. And this weekend, we have just under 2,400 fans heading up there. We have a Peterborough United team. Stats coming in 1-4, drawn 4, lost 13. They've lost the most amount of games of any team in the division, although they sit third from bottom, obviously with Derby County having points deducted. They sit on 16 points and have a massive minus 23 goal difference. They have the worst goal difference in the league as well. So when they lose, they lose. So I think it's very interesting about the former points. So that's it. And obviously we're coming in off the back of a really good victory at home to Birmingham City and a great performance at Hull, which quite frankly, everyone I know who was there said they've got no idea how we managed to lose up there. We had 59% possession. We had 11 shots, 5 of which were on target. I think Hull had 3 shots and got 2 goals out of it. So there you go. You know, they got a bit of a snatch and grab that day. My general feeling is I think that it's one of those games where we've got a huge away following going up there, a bit of a bounce, and actually they're probably there for the taking. What are our thoughts? Debbie, let's start with you. What are your thoughts about the game up at Peterborough?
It's a 4th defeat in 5 league games for Peterborough. Last time out keeps them firmly entrenched at the bottom, 3 ahead of Millwall's visit to Western Hull Stadium. Without a single goal scored across those 5 matches, it's difficult to see where their next point is coming from at Peterborough. Millwall with their tough defensive. Strong setup and physically will be looking to try and push, could say bully, this Peterborough side. We, Millwall, should manage to find the net at least once against the Posh, and it's likely to prove when considering how poor Peterborough have looked going forward in recent weeks. So I'm backing a definite win for the Lions against the side without a lot of confidence. And I was going to say 2-1, but I think I'll go with the score from last week of 3-1.
Oh. Wonderful. George?
Well, we were talking early on, wasn't we, about how we think we may have been pushing on here. And I think this has got the elements of being Peterborough, not too far away, 2,500 supporters, bit of a cup-tie feel about it, really. We're going to be backed by a lot of supporters there. We are on a bit of a run. I'm fairly confident here. I wasn't really quite sure where Peterborough were doing until I've heard your stats there, Henry. But do they sit about third from bottom in the league? I'm not quite sure.
They are third from bottom. That's correct. Yeah.
So
they 2-0 against Forest at the City Ground the last time out, as Debbie mentioned.
Yeah, that's no disgrace, is it? To be honest,
not
but
really, I don't think so.
No. I think we're going to win this. I think we're going to win this 2-0, and I think it could be quite a good day for the Lions. Yeah.
Stan?
I'm always a little bit cautious, and I mean, their record is their record, and on paper we should rock up there, and if we play like we played the other day, then we should probably win with no problem. But I'm wary of it, I have to say, because I remember a couple of years ago we was playing at Blackpool, and they hadn't scored more than, or they hadn't had an home win or something in I don't know how long and whatever it was, and we would have, and it was very similar. We was above them and whatever, and Blackpool beat us 1-0. And I thought, so of all the teams that go up there, it's us that get so. I hope that we win. I'm reasonably confident we're going to win it, but I don't get too carried away because, this could be. I mean, it shouldn't be, but it could be a potential banana skin, and I can just imagine, right, the flack that's going to start flying around if we don't go up there and beat them. I mean, I don't want to. I'm sorry to sound a bit
No, I
down
hear you,
about
Stan.
it.
Oh, yeah, you really are, aren't you? Sit on a fence, go on.
No. I'm just wary because on paper, you know, football, as Jimmy Greaves used to say, it's a funny old game. And on paper, we should just turn up there, play like we did on Saturday, and if we did that, we would win the game. But I'm just wary of it. That's all.
Well, Stan, I'll complete. Listen, mate. I'll stand by some of what you said, just because it's the championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We know what the championship's like.
I'll go for it if everything goes well, right from our point of view. I'll go for a 3-0 win.
You've gone
If it goes,
he's covering all the angles here, Henry, and he's covering.
I'm cautious, but I'm going for a 3-0 win, Stan.
Well.
Okay.
You're cautious but very ambitious.
Yeah, there we are. Oh,
I know
dear.
he's sitting indoors on Saturday, got something Saturday, and all of a sudden it comes up and it says, you know, Peterborough 1, Millwall 0. I think, well, blimey, they scored in 5 games, and we turn up and they score.
There we go, Stan. Well, stranger things will have happened and will have definitely happened to Millwall, I'll tell you. Anyway, with that bombshell, let's take a break there and hear what Fantastic Fanatics can do with a little bit of help from ourselves, and that's all of us.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you can win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm Henry Morgan, and with me I've got the No One Likes Us talking team of George Lampey, Debbie Julians, and Stan Godwin. With Christmas coming, why not spend through the Fantastic Fanatics site and give a Yuletide bonus to the Millwall Community Trust, which will help them to do things like Millwall Community Trust activity and food holiday camps. They'll be returning this Christmas at Salter Road, Berliner Road, and Eugenia Road for 5 to 16-year-olds. These activities and food camps will be free of charge. I will add that the popular MCT player performance pathway has been designed to create a clear route into the Millwall Academy for players with the required ability. They aim to hold trials soon, so if you're interested, please email Tim Sells for a form and he will send a link back to you. Once completed, he will then contact you about upcoming trials which will commence over the Christmas break. This is a fantastic opportunity for players who want to take their game to the next level. Email Tim on tcells@millwallcommunity.org.uk. I'm going to say that again so I can write it down and email him. That's tcells@millwallcommunity.org.uk.
You'd be old for that, Henry, ain't you?
I've still got a good engine in me. Trust me. Okay. Don't worry about that. Okay. I can still put in a shift.
Okay, I believe it.
If Murray Wallace can, I can. I reckon I could outrun him. Anyway, our final guest tonight is not a stranger to the show and one of the Millwall pioneers of a Fan Hub app. Currently sits 3rd place within our 111 fan league. She travels home and away to watch the Lions and now lives in Middle England. It's my pleasure to welcome the one and only Diana Day to the show. Hello, Diana.
Hiya, team. Thanks for the lovely welcome.
All right, Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Hello, everyone. It's great. It's great to actually be on the Fan Hub. I mean, I don't know how many you say, 111. Not
Indeed.
a very good figure for us for a club, with 14,000 fans. I think we should be advertising it a little bit more and pushing it a little bit more because the Fan Hub itself is growing and growing. I think last week, they said they've gone up to 17,000 members.
Interesting.
Lots of different things that are actually going on with them. They want two members of staff joining them. So it's one of these things that's actually growing and growing and growing. And it's a brilliant place. If you want one place for everything and be able to actually visit a different team, your opposing team, to see what's going on, rather than faffing around going to different websites to have a look at it. There it's all presented to you in one package, and you get bonus points, free tickets. I mean, luckily enough, I've been in the top 3 now for probably almost the whole of the last year.
Very good.
So I've managed to get myself a couple of free tickets. Not that I need them for Millwall because I'm a season ticket holder anyway,
Indeed.
but it's there and available. So if other people really want to join it, get involved. There's so much going on, and it is really a site that's there for the fans. The more it gets used, the more people that get onto it, the better it is for everybody concerned.
Wonderful.
Diana, George here. You recently caught up with one of your favourite Millwall players a short while back when he was signing his book at the Den. What was that like for you?
Oh, that was absolutely fabulous. I didn't think I was going to get there on the day, but what we railways and the way the things have been of recent, to actually get there to meet Bryan very, very briefly, it was, well, how can I say? He was an idol of mine from 68, 69 season right the way through till he actually signed for Coventry. And, I was behind that cold blow lane watching him week after week, both sometimes home and away. And I just think he was a great goalkeeper, great character to actually have. And, the book was just something else. It was absolutely brilliant reading the book. And to actually meet him in person was the icing on the cake for me. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the other night. That would have been a brilliant caption, but work has to come first.
Yeah, of course it does. Lovely man, though. Lovely man.
Yes.
Lovely man, yeah.
Hi, it's Debbie here. We sit
Hi, Debbie.
just outside the playoffs. What are your thoughts on us going forward?
Oh, knowing Millwall Football Club like I've done for the last 53 years, I don't think there's any point in getting your hopes up too high, because when you do get your hopes up high, Millwall always tend to let you down. So I always err on the side of caution and don't look at anything until after Easter. Once the Easter break is gone through, where we see where we are, then I might actually sort of dabble into it and say, actually, we've got a chance of either getting to the playoffs or, knocking on the door. I mean, I was one of the lucky ones who was down at Bristol Rovers when it was sort of, final death nail, whether we get there, we're in there, we're out, we're in, we're out. And last minute, we are actually in. And that's Millwall all over. They leave it to the last minute.
Yeah.
Our chances of getting on this year, I would like to think we've got probably one of the strongest set of players that we've had for a long, long time. Okay, at the moment, they're not fully gelling together. Some of the football that we've seen this season has not been that brilliant. They were great players, but they've not been playing together as a team. Game against Birmingham, that was a completely different kettle of fish. We saw the Millwall of old, and it's been a long, long time since I can honestly say that. If we carry on playing football like that every week, I'm sure that we're going to have to actually be up there knocking on the door. But no, I'm not going to say for definite.
Let's hope the gelled well.
Come on, Stan, what do you reckon on my comment?
Well, as it happens, Diane, I don't disagree with you, because the one thing about Millwall, they never do it the easy way, do they? I mean, it's just not.
No, never have done.
It's always we always have to do things the hard way. I mean, but that's what we do, as somebody once said. Let me ask you this, Diane: who would you look to add to the squad in January?
I mean, that's a very hard one to say, because, I had my doubts about Bennett when he joined us during the summertime. He's a bit of a journeyman. And I was thinking, well, maybe he's just going to be here for a season. I like Bradders every time I've seen Bradders play, but then we weren't giving him the service that we want. So we've we've got other forwards there, and it just doesn't seem to click. We've got some great players there, but it's not all gelling together. If we have to strengthen, other clubs are going to be in exactly the same position. So who do we get as a centre forward? We don't want to have somebody that we're paying mega amounts of wages for as a club, because we can't afford it. But we want somebody that can regularly score goals. Are we going to get somebody that's going to score goals on a regular basis and fit into the team as if it's been a final jigsaw puzzle piece? I don't know. There's been a lot of talk about this young lad from Arsenal. He's untried, he's untested. He's not made his mark in the lower divisions. So could we end up with taking somebody else on and shooting ourselves in the foot again? Or do we go with what we've already got? It's a very, very hard situation with 2 players now out for 3 months. Do we again look to actually strengthen, or do we bring some of the youngsters that we've got out on loan back as cover for those players that are potentially could get bookings, suspensions, injuries themselves, and have automatic replacements? We've got a very flexible team. George, Evo can go back into the back 4 if needed. We've got other midfield. We're flooded with midfield players that can fit in that position. Like I say, strength in depth is something that we've actually got this season, and we've got some real promising youngsters that are out there on loan doing the business at other clubs that we could actually call back. So I don't think that this coming January transfer window is going to be, from my perspective, one that I'm expecting the club to go out and actually get players in. I think we've got enough in there to see us through to where we want to go to. We've just got to get that team clicking every week. And one of those runs like we did, when we were in 17, 18 games undefeated, that was an absolute brilliant run. And it all started at our favourite game, Leeds.
Yeah. Just one thing, Diane, I'm talking about January. Do you think that Jed Wallace will be with us come the end of January?
Oh, that's a very hard one to say. I want Jed to actually be happy. I want him. He's a since he's been with us, he's been an absolute dynamo of creativity. He's got so many vital goals in games. I doubt that he will be with us after January, and that will be a real shame. I want him to be there, and I want him to sign a new contract, because I would like to sort of put Jed on one of those pedestals like we have done Kitch and Harry and players of that ilk, and say that Jed is a legend. He's not just somebody who's had a lot of years at Millwall and been an impact on it. I want him to actually be one of those people that we can pin that tag on, possibly in later years. Say instead of the South Stand, it's going to be the Jed Wallace Stand, or something along those lines. I just love the player. I think he's a brilliant tactical player. I don't think even the young fellows that are coming through, even though they're good wingers, they don't have that same tenacity. Jed tried lots of things on Saturday. Some came off, some didn't come off. Can we as a club actually run without Jed Wallace? Can our team get into the last 6 without Jed Wallace? No.
I don't think so.
That's an honest opinion.
No.
With Jed, we stand a chance. Without him, we don't.
Interesting. With that prediction for January ringing in our ears, how about a prediction for this weekend away to Peterborough United? What are your thoughts, Diana?
Oh, God, I don't want it to be a banana skin. It's going to be my first away game since Nottingham Forest. I want to see the Lions go there and actually rip them to pieces and come away with a 3-0 victory.
Oh, another 3-0. Wow.
But knowing Millwall, the way they are, we're going to lose the game 1-0.
Of course. I think we've covered all bases with all of our predictions this evening. That's fantastic. Look, thank you so much for joining us this evening, Diana. I'm sure we will hear from you again along the way. Look, until next time, all the best.
Yeah, okay then. Thanks for having me on, guys. Take care of
Thanks,
yourself.
Diana. Bye-bye.
And see
Thank
some of
you.
you
Yeah,
on
no,
Saturday.
pleasure.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
We will take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren describing a most helpful app for the blind and those with poor sight.
Hi, Bethany Warren here. Millwall Lionesses have partnered with international smartphone application Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is an application that truly benefits the poor of sight and the blind, but is supported by those of us that can see.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available number.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Print image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. So, would you care to be my eyes?
Download the app onto your smartphone now and help those that need your eyes straight away.
I'm Henry Morgan, and with me I've got the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampey, Debbie Julians and Stan Godwin. Can you imagine, if you were blind or poor of sight, the difficulty involved in buying the lights for a Christmas tree? Why not get the app and help the blind and poor-sighted to make decisions? People continue to lose their lives to this dreadful virus, or as a consequence of suffering with it. As deaths increase and infections continue to rise, the number of people are increasingly being hospitalised. Our thoughts go out to their families, friends, and those that take care of them. Additionally, please respect the requirements of transport and other locations in reducing the risk of infection to minimise the possibility of further lockdowns. Also, be accepting of the preferences of individuals in how they protect themselves.
First off, what about in sponsoring a player enjoying a great executive lounge VIP package with family and or friends, or just getting behind the club in a number of different ways that includes business propositions from advertising to sponsorship? Just contact the lovely Andrew Stead or Marcia Wood in the commercial department to find out more. The Lions Raw magazine has not yet hit the streets yet. Editor-in-Chief Aisha Smith is back, and we will let you know when the magazine will appear. And just as a reminder to the season ticket holders, the supporters, as you know, we have been drawn against Crystal Palace on January the 8th, and the kick-off is at 12:45. It's just to remind you, if you're a season ticket holder and you intend to go, make sure you book your seat before December the 16th. Good night from me.
Thank you, Stan. Good information there. Next week, Eamon returns to the show on Friday at 8 o'clock to host another panel of surprises. From surprises to game changers, the Proper Blokes Club continues to amass an incredible following, and their walks take on some fantastic strolls. Come along, and as you may have heard previously, join Scott Johnson, their leader, in breaking the stigma of men's mental health. On any of the walks and talk groups, there are a good few from familiar locations. Just check out the Proper Blokes Club on Twitter and Facebook for arrangements. This is amongst a number of initiatives that is applauded by our former Lion and now colleague Phil Coleman. Good night, everybody, and stay safe.
Don't forget, player sponsorship for the Lionesses is available this season. Why not share the burden between you or a few friends or even a couple of companies? If you can give some added support, you will find the details on their website. Just put Millwall Lionesses into your browser and you will find them easily enough. Lastly, the Lionesses are still recruiting at the moment, and in particular the under-18s. If anyone is interested in coming down to St Paul's, Salter Road, Rotherhithe, please email recruitment@millwall-lionesses.com. I'll repeat that, recruitment@millwall-lionesses.com, or direct message either their Twitter account or Instagram account, Millwall_LFC. And don't forget Millwall Romans and Pride need you too. Go along on Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. to St Paul's Sports Ground and introduce yourself to player manager Paul Loding to find out about joining them. It's good night from me.
Don't forget you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us talking team, bringing reports from our games both home and away and updates on the Millwall community matters too on Maritime Radio broadcasting on 96.5 FM. Also, why not listen to the third of the new Millwall No One Likes Us Talking monthly podcast featuring myself, former player Phil Coleman, and also the No One Likes Us Talking special focused on the short life of former Millwall striker John Lyons. Links are on our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter social media sites and all popular podcast sites. That's it from me. Thanks to George, Debbie and Stan. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night.